We can now turn briefly to some of the distinct issues raised by government acquisition of location information. I explained earlier that in 2014, the Supreme Court recognized that the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution generally protects the contents of a cell phone. But does it protect the location information that a cell phone might generate? In a case called United States v. Jones in 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court held that installation of a GPS device on a vehicle and use of the device to monitor a defendant's whereabouts constituted a search for purposes of the Fourth Amendment. But that case had two features that make it difficult to extrapolate to a broad rule protecting location information from government access. First, the decision was based heavily on a property theory. There was a trespassory intrusion into the defendant's property right in his vehicle for the purpose of gathering information. Second, the case involved a government installation of a location tracking device. It did not address what happens when a governmental entity seeks to acquire location information from a third party, such as a communications provider. In other words, the Supreme Court left it to lower courts to sort out the implications of government collection of location data when no trespassory intrusion occurs and when the government seeks the data from a third party. For example, consider the government's acquisition of so-called cell site location information, or CSLI, from a carrier. There's a significant split among courts on whether the Fourth Amendment or federal statutes demand that the government obtain a warrant before gathering cell site location information from a carrier. Some state courts have found protection for location information under state constitutions. The battle for location privacy is likely to be fought on many fronts. Lower courts are left to sort out the questions the Supreme Court has left unanswered. Meanwhile, privacy advocates push for statutory and other regulatory changes. Are these proposed changes a good idea or a bad idea? Will technology and the market provide better solutions than the law? The answer to that question depends in part on how well we as consumers understand exactly what information our devices collect, how and where it's stored, and how it's used and transmitted.